My name's Allie, and I'd love to be your friendly mystic today. So this tarot reading is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Also can be watched for any personal placements you have in Cancer that are particularly important to you. So let's say, just as an example, let's say your ruling sign or your rising sign is Gemini, and your Mercury placement is in Cancer. It might be fruitful for you to watch this reading, because it is the ruler of your rising sign. Um, but this can be done with, that's just one example. If you find that you have a very prominent angular Cancer placement that really is shows up in your life, then you can go ahead and watch that this reading for that placement. And I may do a video, astrological explanation on that, but that sort of tarot watching is for people who have some knowledge of their natal charts. Anyway, just a few things, just a little housekeeping before I get started, Cancer. My readings are timeless, so they are not specific to the time or the month that they're posted in. I believe you're guided to a reading when you're meant to see that reading. So I just use the month as a way to keep track of when I'm uploading videos, and so that I upload them on a regular basis. Oh, excuse me. Also, my readings are very general. So I cannot read for every person with every Cancer placement ever. Otherwise, these readings would be mishmash. So I set the intention for my readings to be for those who need them the most, or for those who need them. So if this message isn't resonating for you, it doesn't seem to click or make any type of coherent sense to you, then this reading's not for you this month, unfortunately. I'm sure there are tons of other tarot readers on YouTube that have messages that are meant to reach you. So you'll probably get a feeling pretty early on whether or not this reading is yours or not. I think that's it mostly. Just take what resonates, leave the rest. Tarot readings are meant to be confirmation for what your higher self already knows. So there may be something kind of just bubbling under the surface that just you're not necessarily is not necessarily in your conscious awareness yet. Tarot readings are just kind of meant to pull that up to the surface so that you get kind of a conscious look and coherent look at what the situation is. But it shouldn't be anything that it won't be anything that is completely out of left field generally. When you know. That's all I can really say. But I don't want to make this intro too long. Let's get into the reading, Cancer. I'm going to pick your tarot decks now, and we can get started. All right. I have picked your tarot deck and your oracle deck. So I tended to 2 to 3 decks. Right now I've been kind of guided to just do 2. So I have the Lioness Oracle Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my favorites. And then for your oracle deck, I have the Moonology Oracle cards. I'll be showing you those cards as I read. And if there are any particular decks that are speaking to you, or if you're a reader yourself or you want to get started and a particular deck is really grabbing your attention, then I have links in the description for all the tarot decks that I use in my readings. So I'm going to just pull out this deck and get started. So, spirit guides, guardian angels, benevolent ancestors, please help me to connect with the sign, the collective of Cancer, and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Spirit guides, benevolent ancestors, guardian angels, source, please help me to connect with this collective of, I almost said spirit. I think this feels good. The spirit of Cancer, the collective of Cancer, the collective spirit. Oh. Okay. Please help me to connect with the collective spirit of Cancer and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Spirit guides, guardian angels, benevolent ancestors, source. Please help me to connect the collective spirit of Cancer and communicate the messages in their highest good for those that need it. Okay. One more shuffle for good luck. There we are. That feels nice. This deck is really big. Learning how to get the shuffle going on this is quite a lot. Oop, that's too many, but that I'll take. So first card out, which is probably going to be the central topic, is going to be an Eight of Cups. Immediately when I see this card, I kind of get this sense of a loss, a longing, a feeling of there's sort of a death energy around this card of having to set aside every cup and find that one that, and I don't know, it's like you have to let go of everything except for the one thing that matters, and all that other stuff. And it's like having to let everything else die around it. And it kind of gets you to the center of what it is that matters, or that what it is that matters, or what's real, or what is actually bringing you happiness. And it seems like recently you've come to the realization that very little in your life is bringing you happiness, and now you're kind of at the square one kind of place. So let's see what else comes out. But yeah, there's a mourning involved in that card. I see white. Oh, I don't know if I actually showed you. Did I? I'll let you take a longer look. I think I did. We had this black cup in the middle, the white rose. Might be it's not a primrose. I forget what kind of rose that is. But it looks like a rose. It's bloomed a lot. Like it's at that final stage of blooming to the point where it will begin to wither and die. And white roses makes me always reminds me of death. And the little butterfly, the little white butterfly. Yeah. So there's definitely, there's kind of a Five of Cups energy around it, of just loss and grief. It's kind of getting you back to your center, your like emotional center. You're letting go of everything else around it. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Five of Cups, though. I don't know if it'll be necessary for the message. There's an Ace of Swords. So a lot of clarity coming in. Just kind of blooming in you. The sense of knowing what's... Because a lot of the clutter seems to have been sloughed off. Like, that's not the right word, but like sloughing something off. I don't even know if that's the sound that's coming to my head. But kind of like when you, like... you wipe away the grime, or you wipe away and it just sloughs off. I don't know. I think you know what I mean. You kind of have this like one truth, or this one clarity and decisiveness to go forward. Whether or not that clarity or the decisive action has come through, it's more of a, either it will come through after the grieving has gone, or after you've actually gone through the process of letting all of that go. So this could have been something that's already happened, or something that's going to happen, or not necessarily going to happen, but something that Spirit is advising you to do. Let's see, what else? What other messages do you have for Cancer? Spirit? That's too many, but I will take the Magician on top. So, I love this Magician. He's adorable. I think he's adorable. I like him. I think this also puts you in a place of greater manifestation and ability to actually utilize the the resources you already have. So you have everything. You have you seem to have mastery of over. You will have better mastery. There you go. You'll have better mastery over basically all of the elements present, so that you can actually manifest something faster, or manifest something in wholeness, or in its fullness. I think maybe we've been going at something, and it's been close, but no cigar. It's been near, but it hasn't really quite gotten to where it needs to be. And I think that going through this sort of death process, you get that clarity of purpose. I think what it is you finally get the sword in that is the sword that the magician has, so that now he has a full set of the tools he needs to actually truly manifest what it is that he wants to bring into fruition. Otherwise, you've been playing with not a full, it's like not playing with a full set of cards. It's kind of the feeling. Nine of Wands and Two of Cups. I'm thinking that part of what it's been around the Eight of Cups death, which is frustrating, may have been a relationship of some kind. I don't know if this is necessarily a romantic relationship, though Two of Cups tends to indicate to me romantic relationships, though I'm thinking it might be more of a sibling. So this is the upright Two of Cups, and it's two cats, obviously from the same litter. So it may be a sibling situation that's been lost, or has been set to rest. I don't know if I think this was upright before, but it came reversed. That's interesting. But then the Nine of Wands as well. So there was I think kind of a tenseness, sort of standoff almost. Not quite a standoff, but the fight's not over kind of situation. And then I saw it in reverse, which felt like a release of, or it got flipped around in my hand somehow, and I feel like a release of that tension, a release of that, it's kind of like holding your breath, and suddenly you're not fighting with your sibling anymore. You're not fighting with a coworker. You're not fighting with somebody. I think it's probably familial. Knowing you, Cancer, it's like a familial. So that's just brought a lot of the tension down, and now there's more calm and peace available to you. But I'm feeling like it's really shaken up everything else, and it's kind of forced you to look at all of these cups you accumulated. This Eight of Cups, all these other cups you accumulated, and really go, oh, actually, this doesn't make me happy. Which is interesting. Or, if anything, it's really gotten you to the point of clarity where it's I see what actually matters now. And it's not this petty fight, which may or may not be petty. If the Devil at the bottom of the deck has anything to say about it, it's likely petty. So, I'm going to put that right there. Do I have any cards that aren't meant to be? Wow, most of these are upright, I think. I don't know. We'll find out. So, let's see. Anything else? I think I want to look into the Magician a little bit. What are we manifesting? Knight of Cups, Six of Cups reverse, King of Wands. Yeah, this feels like a, so it's like we have a King of Wands, a Knight of Cups. This is the King, this is the Knight. And then in reverse is the Six of Cups. So this really brings up the familial thing for me. On this card, we see this pod of dolphins. For me, the Six of Cups is often familial, but something from the past coming up and creating a conflict between a King of Wands and a Knight of Cups. Really, you'll have to use your discernment to know which party you are in this situation, whether you're the Knight or the King. The King's not acting from a balanced place, at least in this spread. The King is in this... Oh. There's a sadness around the Knight of Cups that I wasn't expecting, so that feels more like the Eight of Cups energy that I was picking up earlier. The King is not acting in a selfless, generous way. The King seems to be, he's in the reverse for one, but he seems to be in this very selfish, ego-aggrandizing space, or, oh my god, excuse me, energy. And it's really, and to go back to this, that is a male lion, interesting. But this is right underneath the, right above the King of Wands in reverse. It's the Nine of Wands in reverse. Is this predator almost, this other lion here. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Really putting another person on edge who has to just be in waiting, prepared, rehearsed almost. This is probably something that's played out over and over to the point that it's like a familiar tune. That's an interesting message. Oh, that's not switching. Whereas the knight was really just hoping to repair the situation. And I think that may have happened, either that or it had to be let go. Whatever the problem was, however the problem was resolved, either the King has left or the King has come into a balance with themselves. And is... Ooh, getting some tinnitus in my left ear. They aren't listening. Okay, that's weird. Sometimes I'll get tinnitus here and there, just having it there in my left ear, my receptive side. It's kind of weird. So I'm getting the sense that they aren't listening, and you are learning to let go of the past and to move on without them. And that is, okay, that makes more sense in regards to the Eight of Cups. So there was a tension that was resolved because you made the decision to cut out what wasn't serving you any longer, which was this King of Wands. And it may have been a sibling, it may have been a family member, and it might not be that you cut them out in a physical sense, like you might still have to live with them, but you've let go, which is like, you've released yourself of this what's the word? I mean, this devil energy really chains us to things and really keeps us bound up in things. It's not always petty. It can be, devil energy is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can also keep us in addictive cycles with a person. So you were really focused on trying to repair this relationship, and you've allowed yourself to let that go finally. And now you have the clarity of purpose and the ability to actually manifest what it is that you want, and that manifest, kind of stand in your own power and, just be your own person without feeling beholden to this other person, or shifting your shape to fit what that person wanted, because it doesn't seem to have mattered what you had done or what you would do for them. I guess so many relationship readings. I guess, I shouldn't be so upset about that, because I think relationships are some of the most important things to us. So it makes sense that this is what people want to read about. I don't think it's necessarily a love relationship. It does feel very familial. But it's just, it is painful walking away, but it's a necessary one. The Eight of Cups really speaks to having to let go of what we thought was going to make us happy so we can actually get to the Nine of Cups, to the Ten of Cups. So it seems that it's a very dark night of the soul moment for you, Cancer. I'm assuming that you're the Knight. You might be the King of Wands in this scenario. But that doesn't seem like you. I don't know. It could be. But you'll know which party you are in the reading. You can be either or, but could be dealing with a Leo as well. I'm going to pull a couple more cards. But good on you. Either this is a decision you've made decisively now, and you're moving forward, but you're still, grieving, which is a moving forward, or this is something you've been contemplating and you haven't been sure if it's the right move because you feel there's a sense of abandonment that you don't want to, you feel like you're abandoning this person, but this person, you can't fix everybody, Cancer. You can't nurture somebody so much they will just be good or they will heal. They have to want to do that, and I don't get the sense that this person wants to do that. At least they can't do it just because you love them enough, right? So if you've been, especially if you've been enabling somebody, then that's going to knock, that's your own addictive cycle as well. And that's the Devil card coming back into play. And breaking that cycle is not easy. Let's see. I want 2 more cards. Let's see. Ah! That is an attractive noise I just made. What came out? The World. Yeah. So yeah, if this is what you've been debating on doing, I think in your heart of hearts, you know that that's what needs to happen. The World really, and when you do that, that is the end of that karmic cycle. You complete that. You might have to face the challenge again, but it's not the same lesson because you already know, you'll know how to see people who are holding themselves accountable and aren't just purely selfish, and who aren't, preying upon your goodwill, and or preying upon your almost your neediness, your need to nurture, your need to fix. You're able to actually take that energy and focus on yourself. But yeah, is when you're able to do that, or perhaps you've already done that and you haven't been you're grieving and it's painful, so there's a sense of oh, but is it the right thing? Should I go back? No. The spirit is very clearly telling me that this was the correct choice for you. This is the path you're meant to take. This is the lesson that you're meant to, the lesson you were meant to resolve, essentially. And now you've completed the cycle, and now you don't have to go back to that. If you go back to it, it's a conscious choice now. Or if you choose to stay in it, it will be a conscious choice now, which makes it harder to do, I think, personally, because you know what's meant and right for you. But that's pretty lovely, actually. I'm really sorry Cancer, if you're the Knight, or even if you're the King, because this is not easy for the King either, I don't imagine. What? That's interesting. Sorry, I don't imagine it's easy for the King either. Definitely not easy for the Knight. The Knight really just wants there to be peace and happiness between these two people. But, next card's out. I didn't mean to really pull them, but they came, so I assume there's a message with them. as with all of the jumpers I have in the deck. But Strength in reverse and a Two of Swords. The strength to actually make the decision to cut two people apart or to sever yourself from this connection or to sever that. Because in this we see a sword coming in between two figures. And that's to me that's this Ace of Swords. That decision to finally take the painful plunge and do it. And I see the Eight of Strength or the Eight of Strength. I see the Strength card in reverse as kind of the, especially in this one, just like waiting in the foliage, waiting for the right time, like contemplating, thinking, really just, I don't know if biding time is really the right word. It's more of like really considering the options and waiting for when everything has become clear in the mind or clear in the heart that this is a decision I need to make. So it's kind of a I guess just a waiting. I really don't have another word. But and the Two of Swords definitely can be a card of indecision and deliberation and weighing two options. So yeah, but it is very, I think this spread is really encouraging you to release this person. Whoever this person is, release this person. And if you've been released by a person, then you may need to look at yourself and see how you were contributing, or how this plays into your own addiction cycle, or how this plays into the cycles you have with other people, and unhealthy attachments and things like this, things of that nature. Okay, it's time to pull some oracle cards. I chose Moonology for you, Cancer, because you're ruled by the moon. You're the mooniest sign of all signs. But if you like this reading, please give a thumbs up. If this reading's really been speaking to you in your situation, I'd love to hear how. I'd love to talk to you and really connect with you. You can leave a comment below. And what else? And if you'd like me as a reader and you'd like to see more of these readings, please subscribe. Hit the little bell notification, the little bell icon, all that. You're on YouTube, you know what it is. I don't imagine anybody's like on here who's never been on YouTube before. But if you also have been vibing with me as a reader, and you like how I read, it just, when you find that reader that resonates with you, that can be really hard. I think that can be difficult to find. But if that's me for you and you'd like a personal reading, I have links in the description to my website, friendlymystic.com, as well as a link, or as well as my email address. Hit me up at friendlymystic.com if you'd like to book a personal reading. But I'm going to pull a couple of moon cards for you. Cancer, especially, Sun, Moon, and Rising, particularly Cancer moons, being attuned with the moon cycle is very important for you. So if you can, keep track of the moon, gaze upon the moon, note what phase she's in, because that's gonna really help you, one, pace yourself, and two, know what it is that, or just kind of, it's kind of like a barometer for you, so you're not fighting against your energy, you're working with it. But so we have a Taurus, full moon in Taurus, which is amazing, but in reverse. Your dreams need a practical plan. To me, so I'll show you the card. But to me, this is more of a very, Taurus is the sign of the moon's exaltation, so this is the highest dignity that the moon can take. This is the basically the best moon placement, and a full moon is just like this fullness, a culmination, manifestation, and like the highest peak of like, which is interesting. We're in Scorpio season, so the next full moon should be in the time of this reading, obviously, but the next full moon should be a Taurus full moon. So if this reading is clicking for you in this time frame, then the Taurus full moon might be very important for you. I think something bittersweet. I mean, obviously this reading is kind of bitter, not very sweet, bitter, but like bitter with the silver lining. I think something bittersweet may happen around the Taurus full moon, which is really interesting. But this is a beautiful Venusian. I think it's also a good time to relax, and really just soak in the energy. Be mindful of what it is that you're feeling around this Taurus full moon, or the next full moon, depending on what point in the cycle you find yourself. That you find yourself in. I don't know if that'll be a Taurus full moon, but this is, I mean, I think also it may feel like it doesn't feel very positive for you. Like, you don't feel like it's very positive, but this is a moon of like great growth, and it may not, there may be some, I don't know if there's a negative aspect to the Taurus full moon, but there is some sort of like, it doesn't feel that great for you because of everything that's happened, but I think what it's trying to tell me is that this is actually a really great blessing for you. And it just isn't feeling that way. So let's pull another card. Sometimes it's hard to trust the universe. Oh, yeah, okay, that's interesting. So then I just get a plain new moon card. So a new start is coming. So yeah, that's really giving me that world vibe, the completion of the cycle, the end of this. It's not something you're gonna have to go back and revisit. Not in the same way. It's kind of like getting, if I think of progress like a spiral, either maybe going up or downward, depends on, whatever works for you, I guess. It doesn't really matter up or down, left, right. But if you think of it as a spiral, it's kind of like coming back around and starting anew, going up. It's still cyclical, as moon cycles often are, but there's a new beginning on a new cycle for you, and that's beautiful. And it's not easy. It hurts. It's painful. But it's best for you. I think that's what Spirit's giving me. But all right, Taurus. I really hope that was helpful for you. My condolences for whatever this painful separation has been. It's doesn't look or feel easy, and these are difficult decisions to make. So I really commend you on, for those of you who've made the decision that is best for you, because breaking cycles like that, especially cycles with the devil, is really difficult. Not that the king itself is the devil, but the addiction you have to enabling people or to nurturing people who don't return your energy, or and that's not necessarily on them. This person was there to teach you to give to yourself what you need first, and to not overgive, and also to give to those who return it, and to give without attachment. So that was just the last little thing that wanted to come through, I guess. All right, Taurus. Oh, Taurus. I think it's because I read that Taurus new moon. Okay, Cancer. Maybe you're dealing with the Taurus, but okay, Cancer. Bye.